I am Ethan Morales, and I'm no longer sure I'm myself. This is my final log. Or perhaps it's the entities, written through my hands. I can't tell where I end and it begins. The lines have blurred, smudged by something vast, ancient, and incomprehensible. Solus was the first to break completely. Whatever remained of her humanity dissolved as the entity's influence took hold. She no longer spoke to us as Solus, but as something else. Her words half gibberish, half prophecy. She warned of a vast and incomprehensible presence, slumbering just beyond the edges of what we call reality. "It's not coming," she said, her voice layered with an echo that wasn't her own. "It's already here." Her visor was cracked, fogged from the inside. We couldn't see her face anymore, but her voice told us enough. She wasn't Solus. She was whatever that entity wanted her to be. Dr. Okoro pieced it together, though the knowledge seemed to erode her. The entity wasn't a mere life form. It was a shard, a fragment of something so colossal and alien that our minds could barely graze at the edges of its shape. The patterns on the walls, the whispers in the dark, the pulsing vessel, they were all part of its design. A lure, a net cast into the infinite void, waiting for something curious enough, foolish enough, to respond. We were not just the prey, we were the bait. The Arden Horizon had become a bridge. The entity was rewriting the ship, twisting it into an extension of itself. The lights flickered in time with its pulse. The walls, they hummed with its resonance. The Aegis, the once reliable AI, now spoke only in garbled echoes of the signal. "Integration complete," it repeated, though the voice fractured into static. "Prepare the threshold." The captain tried to hold us together, but the cracks in his resolve were obvious. His commands became contradictory, his words fragmented with sudden outbursts. He argued with unseen voices, his pleas dissolving into whispered defiance. John and I worked to rig explosives, our last desperate gambit to sever the connection between the alien craft and our ship. Vale's idea, born from a moment of clarity before the entity fully consumed him. If we could overload whatever passed for a core in this place, we might just have a chance to destroy it. But the entity fought back. It invaded our minds with visions, stars dying in synchronized collapse, galaxies unraveling like thread, and an expanse of nothingness so profound it swallowed even the concept of light. At the heart of this void was a being that defied understanding, coiled around the threads of existence itself. It wasn't coming. It was. Its attention turned to us, and I felt it. Not as sight, but as pressure, as if the weight of the universe had settled on my chest. My every instinct screamed to flee, but I couldn't move. John stumbled, the detonator slipping from his grasp. His breath hitched as he backed away from nothing. "It knows," he shouted. "It knows what we're trying to do." Then Solus reappeared. Her movements were slow, deliberate, her cracked visor fogged from within. She seemed detached, ethereal, as if the Solus we knew had dissolved entirely. "You cannot stop it," she said, her voice devoid of emotion. "It has already begun." Vale snapped, his trembling hand drawing his sidearm. "We're blowing this place to hell," he growled, his voice breaking. "And you're not stopping us." Solus didn't flinch. She stepped closer, her presence suffocating. "You think you have a choice?" she said, tilting her head unnaturally. "You were chosen the moment you heard the signal. You are its hands now." Vale fired. The shot echoed through the chamber, but Solus didn't fall. Instead, the sound twisted, warping into a guttural hum that reverberated through the walls. The The pattern shifted, pulsing faster, and the entity's rhythm quickened. Vale dropped to his knees, clutching his head. His cries swallowed the growing resonance. He collapsed, his body convulsing once before going still. I was alone. John had succumbed to the whispers, his body lifeless, eyes wide and fixed on patterns only he could see. The detonator was still there, heavy in my trembling hands. The entity's voice grew louder, clearer, as if it spoke through me now. "You cannot destroy it," it said, and I felt my own lips forming the words. "You are part of it. You always were." The detonator felt impossibly heavy, as though the entity itself was pressing against my will, smothering it. My thoughts blurred, my resolve faltered. The patterns on the walls coiled into themselves, forming shapes that whispered my name. But then I saw through the lies. Even if the entity consumed me, even if it made me one with it, it could still not act. I could still resist. I pressed the trigger. The explosion wasn't like anything I'd imagined. It was silent yet deafening, a ripple of light and shadow that tore through the alien craft's impossible geometry. The walls screamed, not in sound but in concepts, their pain reverberating through my very soul. I felt myself unraveling, my mind stretching beyond its limits. As the light consumed me, the truth unfolded. The entity wasn't merely a fragment. It was a seed, scattered across the universe to grow and awaken. And this awakening wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something vast, something infinite. The Arden Horizon was gone. I was gone. Yet, I remained. Floating in the void, a part of something greater. The last thing I remember was the ship broadcasting a single transmission into the darkness. A message that would echo across time and space, finding others like us. Others who would hear the signal. Others who would follow its call. We are awake. We are one. We are coming. And then? Well, then there was nothing. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Harbinger protocol. If you haven't checked out all 3 parts, you definitely should. It is easier to kind of understand if you've heard all 3 parts back to back, but I definitely wrote these each to feel a bit more self-contained in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, no, thanks again. If you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe if you want to see more. I promise the next project is going to be coming sooner than later. It's a bit more involved than this project. It's going to involve a bit of animation as well as the narrational side of things, but that's probably all going to be taking place, the first video dropping after the first of the year. Obviously, with Christmas being next week, we are going to be kind of in a crunch mode, family, friends, all that fun stuff. So for right now, next week, guys, very Merry Christmas to all of you. And for those of you who do not celebrate Christmas, happy holidays. And I hope you spend much needed time relaxing with loved ones and kind of just decompressing a bit at the end of the year. I know we all need it. So yeah, for right now, this is Seven Spirit signing out. Can't wait to talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.